Hi, listeners. Welcome to your daily cup of coffee with Charu, where hopefully, with a hot cup of coffee, we discuss how to tackle the day and the week ahead based on the astrological aspects that are dominating the sky. Yesterday, I briefed you on the Mars Neptune square that's dominating the sky this week, and it's happening at the point where the solar eclipse of 10th of June will bring about a new beginning. We all have been discussing solar eclipses bring about fated changes. The changes that would normally take years and years to happen, solar eclipses bring about that all of a sudden. But there's a build up to the solar eclipse, and this aspect is very much part of a build up to the solar eclipse of 10th of June in Gemini, and Mars is right now standing at the very degrees where that eclipse is about to happen. Today, after a brief introduction, we're going to dig into your specific zodiac sign and see how this impacts you. You can catch me on YouTube as well as across the podcast platforms Anchor, Spotify. I will leave the links in description for you so you can access this episode also through the podcast platforms. My name is Charu and I'm your host on this journey. So let's dig in. As I mentioned in my post and podcast yesterday, Mars square Neptune will become exact on 9th of April and it would be felt most of this week. Mars is our drive and Neptune tends to slow it down. But there is a hindrance for a more effective and inspired action that this aspect is trying to highlight to us before we go blazing into the eclipse season with a fated shift in our life. The 10th June eclipse would be starting a new chapter at the point where this aspect is happening right now. So, understanding this aspect and the dissonance that it is creating this week, the purpose behind that dissonance is very important for you to have the right kind of beginning on 10th of June solar eclipse. North Node or Rahu has already visited and activated this eclipse in January of 2021. We have already experienced the activation of this new beginning, whether we are aware of it or not. Some of the things might be happening behind the scene and we may not be fully aware of. They will fully come out, and the physical manifestation of it will fully come out to light during the June eclipses. But the activation of the eclipse already began in January of 2021. Mars, right now, standing at that very point in Gemini, dares us to do the right thing before we enter the physical manifestation phase of that period, of that eclipse. With Neptune, Mars is trying to put the inspiration behind our action, the right inspiration behind the actions that we're going to take. A collective goal, some faith behind our actions, and making sure that we're going after something with the right purpose behind it. Sometimes we reach where we thought we wanted to go, only to realize later on that is not the destination we truly wanted to get to. And Neptune is trying to make sure that we understand that what we are going after is truly our purpose, truly our desire. Neptune dissolves social, political, religious, and personal boundaries as well that block our collective growth. And they block the birth of a new societal ideal. So, Neptune is trying to dissolve all of those hindrances and those boundaries that block that birth within ourselves as well. It teaches us to have faith in the unknown. So, if we are trying to take the practical route, the easy route, Neptune is going to try to stop us in the tracks. It teaches us to have faith in the unknown, to aim higher, aim for a higher purpose, higher road. It teaches us to love unconditionally, allow the barriers to disintegrate, and act out of a place of pure inspiration to contribute to the society versus for ego gratification or for fitting in into the society and our surrounding. It undermines the success which comes without service to the collective and without service to your own soul. It is trying to keep you honest to your own soul's purpose. Nothing is done fully for altruistic purposes, but Neptune demands that our motivations aren't inspired by pure ego boost or societal pressure. A very creative aspect is currently happening, and it makes us sensitive to both our soul's purpose as well as to the collective need and styles. So, what we create is made out of pure love. It is made from a place of wanting to channel our soul. And there is an element of self transcendence over here where we don't necessarily keep ourselves and our ego gratification as the front of what we are trying to do. What we hold at the front of our mind when we are going after something, when Neptune is aspecting it, is a higher purpose. And that is bound to touch others on a deeper in a deeper way. And it will serve the collective in a much, much more meaningful way. So let's put some meat on the bones now by looking at your sign. And as usual, check your rising sign. That is the key indicator. And if you're able to, check the sun and the moon sign for a fuller picture. But rising sign would be the key indicator for how this aspect is playing out for you. So let's dig in. Libra, for you specifically, this energy is focused in your house of adventure, in your house of travel, in your house of higher education, growth, publication, legalization in a foreign country. This is a new phase in your house of expansion that is initiating with the 10th of June eclipse. And you might be feeling right now restless for an adventure, aren't we all? But looks like you're going to have one in June with the new moon solar eclipse. Though right now the mundane might be blocking you. Seeds of this adventure have been seeded through a fated event in January, which happened in your knowledge or away from it. But the full monetization will pan out, the full manifestation of this new adventure will pan out in June. It might be in works right now with some hurdle needing handling by you, and this hurdle could be mundane in nature. You're looking to do more and be more professionally and personally, either by relocating, by legalizing in a foreign country, or to go for a job or a position that requires you to enrich your knowledge. You might be looking at a more expansive opportunity, or you might be going in for a formal higher education for a more enriching career opportunity. You are inspired to learn, you want to expand your activities, you want to publish your knowledge, you want to share what you have learned, you want to teach, you want to learn, you want to grow your knowledge through exposure to more expansive influences. It's also exciting your opinions and beliefs, so you want to share those with other people when this happens. Mars is right now in your house of belief system, in your house of opinions, so there might be a lot of sharing of those, and some of them might be flying very quickly in some way, which is very adventurous in nature because you sort of interact with people intellectually a lot more than normal when this happens. This is very much your natural element, which is enhanced by Mars, but sometimes it can become quarrelsome as well because Mars is a little bit too speedy and can have some rough edges, so be careful of that. Though it's not your style, Mars is positively exciting your mind right now to think more of what you can do or to expand your horizons essentially. But Neptune is creating right now some confusion in that communication. It's possible that the mundane is causing you bogged down. There might be some details that might be missing in that new start. There might be not clarity on how professionally that would pan out for you. Like, what is the workplace like that? How would it work practically? So, Neptune can create some confusion, even misunderstanding at work right now. So, look out for that. It's very short term, but it's something that you need to get over and surpass. Neptune is in your house of health as well. So some unknown health issue or fatigue might have been coming about because Neptune in our house of health can reduce our immunity. It reduces, in general, our boundaries to others. So it reduces our immunity, and there might be some fatigue or even unknown health issues sometimes that sets in, but largely they are related to either stress or related to work matters, though we should always check it out. But the Neptunian health issues that happen when Neptune is in the sixth house normally happen because of not so clean environment energy wise, having people who are trying to draw way too much out of you than you're physically ready to give at that moment. And there might be some elements, something that is, some Neptune essentially drains us from of minerals in our body. So there might be some deficiency that might be playing out, though you should always medically check if there are some health issues that are coming up. But general fatigue sometimes sets in, and that can cause some delays in making the travel or the adventure happen, or it might be blocking you from working towards the new start right now. Neptune distorts reality, so some matters at work may not be very clear. It's possible that you are giving in more than your fair share to your coworkers or to your bosses or to the projects that are taking away the time from your adventure, what you want to do, your goals in some ways. It might be taking time and energy from your personal growth, from what you want to do next. This is a hurdle that you might need to handle before the new start. And in some ways, sometimes that is the hurdle that prompts or excites the new start as well, because sometimes we don't like the mundane, or we don't want to jive with the mundane anymore, and that sort of creates a friction which can be healthy in some ways because it propels us to do something more, it propels us to be more. Having faith in your knowledge, having faith in your abilities can help handle a confusing work related matter which might make you feel used or even disillusioned. Sometimes a mentor might as well sort of can help in this regard. There could be a person in your workplace who's a good mentor. They can help you in some ways. Or taking a high road, which Libras normally do, and sticking to a higher place you normally hang out as a sign, it might be helpful to resolve this work issue as well. Stand your ground, pursue your goals without losing sight of them, and make sure that your sense of adventure is not jaded by negativity of those around you or because of too many mundane things that are popping up in terms of hurdles or problems in that new start. In your mind, in your body, in your soul, you know that you want to do something more expansive, you want to start something more adventurous, and it might be in the area of publication, it might be in the area of sharing your mind, which is your strength. You're an air sign, so sharing your mind, sharing your brilliant ideas, sharing your thought process and your higher education and your knowledge, and expanding that through interaction with people who are different from you is something that excites you, as does travel, as and when it opens up. That excites you. So you might be inspired to learn, you might be inspired to communicate, and this is something that you want to pursue, and you want to have a new start in that, and the mundane is biting. And I think that is the hurdle that you might need to cross right now. This might also highlight the need to get the details right. Sometimes Neptune highlights a gap in our vision. Like maybe the details are not there yet, or there's some specific um, roadblocks in getting there, because there's a hurdle in terms of maybe getting the process right. Like if you want to legalize in a foreign country, but what is the details behind it, how to get there, and that needs to be worked on. That might be fuzzy to some extent. Or you want to legalize to a country, but do you have really truly, do you have intention to be successful there? Do you really want to be there, or is it because it's just time, or it's just compulsion, or is it worldly social pressures to be there? Similarly, if you want to start a new adventure, that the Neptune checks our intention behind what we're trying to do. So it's possible that if you're facing a roadblock, or there's just internal hurdle that needs to be crossed. There are certain questions that need to be possibly answered before we get there. Need to get the details right, both in work and health, before you can publish, before you can move to the next stage of growth, before you can enroll to a new course, before you can get to your visa and legal living status or relocate or travel. Our life philosophy impacts our work and our attitude to coworkers as well as our health. That part is very much highlighted by this clash that we're facing right now between these two houses for you. Because Libra, right now, the two houses that are clashing with you is routines and a higher vision or philosophy. If you have a higher goal, if you have a life philosophy, which is positive, which is enriching, you have something to look forward to, then even the mundane becomes divine in some ways. And that helps positively, that attitude of going somewhere, excitement about where you're going, having something to look forward to. It changes our attitude to our work, it changes our attitude towards co-workers, it changes our attitude to health. A sound mind and a positive mind with something to look forward to creates a sound body. Health issues, if any, as I said right now, those should be medically checked up but might be tough to pinpoint. Neptune makes it very difficult to pinpoint what is the rationale behind a health issue during this transit. And their roots are normally psychological in nature and have roots in the mind. So adding a bit of creativity to mundane or doing work close to water body, having, living or working, especially working close to sea, close to ocean, or having a picture of a sea or ocean in your office, it can add some grand fresh breeze to your enthusiasm to get the mundane right. So that's the clash I see for you. But I see that clearly with the new moon solar eclipse that's coming in 10th of June, that a new chapter in adventure is beginning for you. It could be a leap of faith that you're about to take, which is, as I said, involves making use of your communication skills, your knowledge, your information that you have gathered over years, your skill sets, your higher mind. And it sort of is taking you away from the mundane in some ways. It could be that you're sort of taking a break from work and going for a sabbatical, or you're going for a more expansive work, or you're taking on a course to take you to the next level. So there's a next chapter that you sort of are bringing, and that is a road to success for you as well, because you have North Node right now in your ninth house, which takes you to a better career place if you take an enriching journey either through an expansive on-job training or through a formal course essentially. And publication, sharing your viewpoint in some formal way is very, very positive for you right now. Or taking on a mentor could be very, very beneficial to you. The eclipse is going to happen around 19 or 20 degree. So if you have planets around 19 or 20 degree, or if you're born around 13th of October, if you're a Libra sun, you will experience that new start in a very, very potent fashion. It's positively aspecting all of you, so it will flow easily for you. But as I said, that event in some ways has already originated through a shift in December or January. So you can look back if there was some fated change that has already happened or clicked, which sort of will fully show up going forward in June to you, which will fully manifest for you in June, essentially moving forward. Right now, Neptune is at 22 degrees. So if you have planets around 22 degree of Libra, which is around 15th of October born, if you're a Libran, you want to be a little bit careful about your health. If there are elements, chemicals, something artificial that you're taking, it can impact us more, because Neptune makes our boundaries thin with people as well as with substances. So if you're feeling a little bit, just give yourself, especially right now, just give yourself that time, that bandwidth, for your body to heal or for it to have good immunity at this stage. It's just because sometimes when Neptune is here, it leaches some of the good nutrition out of a body, especially minerals. So if you take a multivitamin or just be with a doctor under your physician's, instructions, just take a good multivitamin or just boost your diet on greens very much, like with a green juice or something, to to help you give an additional boost at this time to bump up the immunity essentially. Good luck for that, Libra, and I'll see you in the next video now.